Page of Age, Journal 18, The Exorcism of Jane Doe Boudroux.
Well, it's came to that time to where I tell one of the most haunting and horrifying cases that Ancient Nine Mystery School has ever encountered. Other than the portrait, this is in the earlier days of me and the mystery school coming together. And for the safety of the identity, we will name her Jane Doe Boudroux. Very gifted. I remember when me, Avalon, and Lisa had first came across her. Promising, very interesting, very knowledgeable. Knew so many different things. And we always give warning to everyone in the mystery school, the coven, that when we encounter these different entities and spirits, that we have to be very careful and cautious. You agree, Avalon?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to. And as soon as you let up, that's when an intruder and a parasite, I mean, whatever you want to call it, an attachment, a demon, that's when they sweep themselves right in. You have to always cleanse and protect yourself.
So we definitely told her everything, like we tell everyone that comes into the mystery school. We are Jedis. We train. We have an understanding of everything concerning the body, the spirit, and the mind. Those are the main gates. So, moving forward, Jane was very, very, very skilled, and she was doing good the first 3 months. But after a while, like many others have, her case got very serious. And I knew when we first started bringing her in on our investigations that it would be serious for her, because she was a Capricorn and she was so knowledgeable, but yet more leaning towards the darkness versus the light of clarity. So she calls us one day and she says that she needs our assistance, and it all began with an egg cleanse. Because she was telling us that she was feeling weary from one of the assignments that we did concerning an entity named Azazel. And those who do their research, they know Azazel is a very, very powerful entity. The master of the fallen, the one who had first taught. So she was always telling us about her encounters and stuff, and she had been dealing with a couple of spirits, and she had mistaken them for loved ones. That's what me and Avalon and Lisa came to the conclusion of, but of course we didn't tell her that. So a little bit after doing the egg cleans, we thought things was better. She really started going through spasms and attacks. You remember, Avalon?
Yeah. She started kind of like slurring. Her voice would slur, and then it would speed up real fast. And it would do something really weird. I've heard other people say that this was like a demonic thing, that this was something that happened when they were like, had some type of a demonic attachment.
Yeah, so it was becoming serious, we saw. But we thought we had taken care of it. And I guess a little bit after that, she had called us again. This was like maybe about a month later, and we from the sound of her voice on the phone, if you remember, she sounded irate, so we came to her, and she wanted us to meet her, so we decided that we go to a room, a nice room, I think like it was like the Hilton or something like that, to where we could have a room, because this was going to take all night. We knew that it would. This was more than just an egg cleanse. So we went through with it, and man, all I know is that we came in there and she looked very different. She had like a grimace, like you could almost say like a Joker's grin. But you know, of course, this is our friend. We loved her. She was one of us. But I don't know. All I can say is that when we did this particular cleansing, I laid hands on her forehead. The next thing you know, just like that in a blink, I was in a place of nothing but darkness, a bottomless pit. I almost felt like I was going insane. And I was hanging from a chain. I could tell it was a chain, but I was hanging in the middle of nowhere. And all I saw was images of all kinds of people around me receiving shoes and different brand new bodies for them to go through torture. It was a nightmare. And all I could say was, in my mind, as I was hanging from there, because the clarity that I was in some form of hell. You remember when I opened my eyes again, I looked up and I seen Avalon was right there, and Leisha, and they had just the craziest face. Man, that's when I told them about all the things that I saw. I saw hundreds and hundreds of different women and men, and they looked like that they were more of a celebrity lifestyle, but they were all in torture, and some of the men and women were receiving shoes that boiled their brains.
Gosh.
But it was like their brand new bodies. Remember when I told you about that? They were receiving brand new bodies for the torture, and it was a never-changing nightmare. So when I got up, Avalon told me that Jane had got up, and she just got up. She didn't even speak, and she just walked out, and we never saw her again. And then maybe like 5 months ago, I called her mother I was aware of, and she says that she still hasn't seen her. She calls every once in a while, but she's just mumbling. But she's always talking about an entity named Exorcism. Of course, we know who that is now in our research, but that's one of the most horrific cleansings that we've been involved in. And I'm going to be honest with you, out of everybody that's ever been in the covenant, because we all are very close, I don't ever want to come across Jane Boudroux again.
We sure will, I do. I hope she, finds peace in her life, and I hope that she stays cleansed and she can keep that entity, or whatever she chooses to call it. She may think it's a friend, she might think it's a guy, but we can't do this to ourselves, and we can't do this to the other members.
Yeah, I ain't never felt no way like that before, and I've been dealing with this stuff a long time, but that's a true story. And if you're out there, you know who you are. And we wish you the best. Journal 18, Ancient Nine Mystery Files.